The fire alarm wasn't supposed to go off during my lunch break. I was 3 floors up when I heard it. Not the drill kind, the real kind. The kind that makes your stomach drop before your brain catches up. Mrs. Patterson's apartment. 3rd floor, east wing. I knew it before dispatch confirmed it because I could smell it. That specific chemical burn of old wiring mixed with something worse. Something plastic. Something that shouldn't be burning. I wasn't on duty. I was in jeans and a t-shirt, eating a sandwich in the break room of the Seattle Fire Department Station 23. But Mrs. Patterson had 2 kids under 5, and the east wing exit had been broken for 3 weeks while the landlord got quotes. So I ran. The details after that are blurry. Smoke, heat. A toddler's cry behind a door I had to kick in 3 times. My hands on something hot, I didn't know what. The ceiling starting to give. Getting them out. Getting myself out. Barely. What I remember clearly is looking down at my hands in the ambulance. The paramedic's face. The way she very carefully didn't look at my neck and shoulder. "You're going to Harborview," she said. "They're the best burn unit in the region." "How bad?" She hesitated. "Bad enough that you need the best. 3rd-degree burns. That's what the doctor said. 15% of my body. Right hand, right arm, right side of my neck. The kind that destroys the nerve endings, so you don't even feel pain at first. The kind that needs skin grafts, multiple surgeries, months of recovery. The kind that costs money. Your insurance will cover most of it," Dr. Reyes explained, pulling up my chart. She was kind, the way doctors are when they're about to deliver bad news. But you were off duty. This wasn't a workplace injury. Your personal health insurance caps out-of-pocket expenses at $8,000 for this type of emergency surgery. $8,000. I had $900 in my checking account. "We need to schedule the first surgery within 48 hours, she continued. "After that, the risk of infection increases significantly. Sepsis becomes a real concern. 48 hours to find $8,000. I called my father first. He picked up on the 4th ring. I could hear golf commentators in the background. Thursday afternoon. His standing tea time at Bellevue Country Club. "Michael, hey, can I call you back? We're on the 9th hole. Dad, I'm in the hospital. There was a fire and I got burned pretty badly. I need surgery, but I'm short on the payment. I need to borrow $8,000. Silence. The golf commentary stopped. 8,000? His voice changed. Not worried. Calculating. "Michael, that's a lot of money." "I know. I'll pay you back. I just need it by tomorrow morning for the surgery deposit." "Tomorrow?" "Son, I can't just pull $8,000 out of thin air. We have expenses. Your mother and I just closed on the Tesla. Do you know what the down payment on a Model S is?" I looked at my bandaged hand. "Dad, I saved 2 kids from a fire, and that's very heroic. But it was also your choice. You weren't even on duty." "This is a lesson in financial planning, Michael. You're 28 years old. You should have an emergency fund." The line felt very quiet. "You just bought a $70,000 car. That's different. That's an investment. Electric vehicles hold their value. Look, I'll talk to your mother, but I can't promise anything. We just committed to financing Emma's studio expansion. $20,000. The lease papers are already signed. Emma, my younger sister, 25, Instagram influencer, 200,000 followers, income that varied wildly between 4-figure brand deals and nothing. Emma's studio is more important than my surgery? Don't be dramatic. Use a credit card. That's what they're for. We have to go, Michael. I'll call you later." He didn't call later. My mother did. "Sweetheart, your father told me about your accident. I'm so sorry you're going through this." Hope flickered. "Mom, I really need help with the surgery payment. It's $8,000 and I need it by tomorrow." "Oh, honey, I wish we could help. We really do. But we're just stretched so thin right now. Emma's studio expansion, the Tesla, and I just booked that wellness retreat in Sedona. It's non-refundable." "A wellness retreat. For my anxiety, Michael. Doctor's orders. You know how stressed I've been. I have 3rd-degree burns, Mom. I know. And I feel terrible about it. But you have to understand. We can't just drop everything. Can't you set up a payment plan with the hospital? That's what most people do." I need the surgery in 48 hours or I risk sepsis. Well, maybe talk to the billing department. They're usually very understanding. And honey, maybe this is a sign. You've always been so impulsive, rushing into things. Maybe this is the universe telling you to slow down and think before you act. I hung up. I sat in that hospital bed, my right side wrapped in gauze that needed to be changed every 6 hours, my phone heavy in my left hand, and I wanted to throw it through the window. Instead, I called my little sister. Emma answered on video chat. She was in her new studio, the one my parents had just financed. White walls, professional lighting, a ring light that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. Oh my God, Michael! Dad told me you got hurt. Are you okay? I'm in the hospital. I need surgery. I'm short $8,000. She tilted her head, the way she did in her Instagram posts. Sympathy, but make it aesthetic. That's so scary. But can't the hospital just bill you later? I need it by tomorrow morning. Wow, that's intense. She adjusted her ring light. I wish I could help, but I literally just signed the lease on the studio expansion. My entire savings went to the deposit and first month's rent. I'm actually kind of broke right now. Mom and Dad gave you $20,000. Yeah, but that barely covered it. Do you know how expensive commercial real estate is in Seattle? And I need it for content creation. It's my business. I saved 2 kids from a fire. Emma. I know, and that's so amazing. You're like a real hero. I should post about it. Her eyes lit up. Actually, do you have any photos from the hospital? Nothing too graphic, but something authentic? My followers love authentic content. We could do a GoFundMe. I could share it. I don't need followers. I need $8,000 by tomorrow. Right, yeah. GoFundMe takes time, though. You have to build the campaign, share it, wait for donations. I don't think you'd hit 8,000 by tomorrow. She checked her phone. Oh, shoot, I have a brand meeting in 10 minutes. I have to go, but I'll totally share your GoFundMe if you make one, okay? Love you. Feel better. She hung up. I stared at the ceiling. White acoustic tiles with small holes. I counted them. 243 tiles in my room. It was something to do besides think about how my parents had just bought a Tesla and financed my sister's studio, but wouldn't help me pay for surgery to fix burns I got saving children. The nurse came in to check my vitals. Any luck with the payment? She asked gently. No. She nodded. She'd probably seen this before. We can set up a payment plan, but you're right that we need the surgery soon. Have you looked into hospital financial assistance? Sometimes they can help. I make too much as a firefighter. $48,000 a year. Too much for assistance, not enough for $8,000 in savings. Family? They're not an option. She squeezed my good shoulder. I'm sorry. For what it's worth, what you did was incredibly brave. Brave didn't pay for skin grafts. That night, I couldn't sleep. The pain medication made me foggy but not unconscious. I kept checking my phone. No calls. No texts from Mom or Dad. Emma posted a photo of her new studio with the caption, "Dreams don't work unless you do, boss life, studio expansion." 47 likes in 3 minutes. The next morning, 42 hours before my surgery window closed, someone knocked on my hospital room door. I expected a nurse, maybe another doctor. It was my older sister, Sarah. Sarah was 32, lived in a small apartment in Renton, worked double shifts as a waitress at a diner off I-5. She had 2 kids, Jacob and Mia, ages 6 and 4. Their father wasn't in the picture. She drove a 2008 Honda Civic with a dent in the passenger door and duct tape holding the side mirror. I hadn't called Sarah because Sarah didn't have money. Everyone knew Sarah didn't have money. She walked in carrying a thermos of coffee and a paper bag from the diner. "You haven't eaten anything good in 24 hours, she said. "I brought you a breakfast burrito. Extra cheese, no peppers, the way you like it." I couldn't eat it with my right hand bandaged. She cut it into pieces with a plastic knife and fork. "Emma called me," Sarah said. "Told me about the surgery payment." "Sarah, you don't have to." "Shut up. Eat your burrito." I ate. She watched me the way she used to when we were kids, and Mom was too busy with work to notice if we'd had dinner. When I finished, she pulled an envelope from her purse, plain white, slightly wrinkled. "There's $1,200 in here." I stared at it. "Sarah, no, I can't." "I sold my wedding ring." The air went out of the room. "What?" "My wedding ring. From Marcus. I know he turned out to be a piece of shit, but it was a real diamond. 2 carats, his one good choice." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Jeweler gave me $1,200. I knew you needed $8,000, but I figured $1,200 is better than nothing. You can get a loan for the rest, or maybe we can call some of those medical credit card companies." "Sarah, that was your wedding ring." "Yeah, and now it's your surgery money." She pushed the envelope toward me. "Michael, you ran into a burning building to save someone else's kids. You think I wouldn't sell a ring to save my little brother?" I couldn't speak. My throat was too tight. She stood up, kissed my forehead the way she used to when I was 7 and scraped my knee, and headed for the door. "Wait," I managed. "Sarah, I'm going to pay you back. Every cent. I promise." She paused. "I know you will. You're one of the good ones, Mikey. You always have been." After she left, I sat with that envelope for a long time. $1,200. Sarah's wedding ring. The only thing of value she owned. The only piece of jewelry she wore besides the cheap watch she got for Waitress of the Month. She sold it for me. My parents bought a Tesla and wouldn't lend me $8,000. Emma got a studio expansion and wouldn't spare a dime. Sarah sold her wedding ring and gave me $1,200 she couldn't afford to lose. I called every loan company I could find. The surgery was 6 hours away. Most of them wanted credit checks that took 24 hours. The ones that didn't wanted interest rates that would bury me. Finally, I found one. Pacific Northwest Credit Solutions. They specialized in emergency medical loans. The interest rate was criminal, 28%, but they could approve me in 2 hours and wire the money directly to Harborview. I borrowed $7,000. Combined with Sarah's $1,200, I had my $8,000. Dr. Reyes performed the surgery that afternoon. 4 hours. Skin grafts from my left thigh to my right arm and neck. When I woke up, everything hurt in a way the first burns hadn't. "The surgery went well," Dr. Reyes said. "You'll need follow-up procedures, physical therapy, and the grafts need time to heal. But you're going to be okay." Okay. I was going to be okay. I was also $7,100 in debt at 28% interest. The bills started coming 3 weeks later. Recovery took 3 months. I couldn't work. Firefighters need 2 hands. I lived on short-term disability, which paid 60% of my salary, $28,000 a year to live on while paying $700 a month in loan payments. I ate ramen and peanut butter. I gave up my apartment and moved into a friend's garage. I sold everything that wasn't essential. Sarah brought me groceries. She couldn't afford to, but she did anyway. My parents didn't visit once during my recovery. Too busy. Mom's wellness retreat. Dad's new Tesla needed customization. Emma's studio was taking off. 50,000 new followers, brand deals rolling in. 4 months after the surgery, I went back to work. Light duty at first, then full duty. Picked up every overtime shift available. Weekends, holidays, double shifts. I worked 80 hours a week. It still wasn't enough to make a dent in the loans. The collection calls started at month 6. Then I saw Emma's Instagram post. She was standing in front of a new storefront. Glass windows, professional signage, Emma Chen Studios, grand opening. The caption read, "So grateful to my amazing parents for believing in my dreams. Second location officially open. Number blessed, number family support, number dream big." Second location. They'd given her more money. I called my father. "Michael, good to hear from you. How's the recovery going?" "Emma got a second studio." "Oh yeah, isn't that great? She's really building something. We're very proud. How much did you give her?" "I don't see how that's relevant." "How much, Dad?" $25,000. "But it's an investment. She's got real momentum now. The first studio is already profitable. $25,000 for Emma's second studio. $0 for my surgery." "I almost died," I said quietly. "Don't be dramatic. You had a burn. You're fine now. I'm $7,100 in debt at 28% interest. I'm working 80 hours a week. I'm living in someone's garage. Well, Maybe this is a good lesson in financial responsibility. You should have had an emergency fund. You should have made better choices. Emma planned ahead. She created multiple income streams before expanding. I saved 2 children from a fire. And we're proud of you for that. But pride doesn't pay bills, Michael. You need to learn that actions have consequences. Emma understands that. Maybe you should take a page from her book. I hung up. That night, I couldn't sleep. Again. I kept thinking about Sarah's wedding ring, about the $1,200 she couldn't afford to give, about how she visited me 3 times a week during recovery while my parents didn't come once, about how my father told me actions have consequences while financing Emma's second studio. I started researching. Public records are public for a reason. Property records, business filings, loan documents, all available online if you know where to look. My parents owned their house outright. Purchased in 1995 for $300,000, now worth $1.2 million. No mortgage. But they had liens. 3 of them. A home equity line of credit for $80,000, opened 2 years ago. A second lien for $60,000, opened last year. And a third lien, just filed 3 months ago, for $75,000. Total debt, $215,000 against a house worth $1.2 million. I dug deeper. The first lien funded Emma's initial studio. The second lien paid for the Tesla and Mom's renovations to the kitchen. The third lien, the recent one, funded Emma's second studio and Mom's wellness retreats. They weren't refusing to help me because they didn't have money. They were refusing to help me because they'd spent it all on Emma. And they were drowning. I found the loan servicer, Pacific Coast Lending. They'd bundled my parents' liens into a single debt package and sold it to a debt buyer. Debt buyers purchase loans for pennies on the dollar, then collect the full amount from borrowers. It's a profitable business if you know what you're doing. The debt buyer who purchased my parents' loans was Cascade Financial Recovery. I called them. "I'm interested in purchasing a debt package from you," I told the acquisition manager. "We typically work with institutional investors. Are you representing a firm?" "I'm a private investor. I have capital available and I'm interested in local real estate debt." "What's your range?" "Low 6 figures. That got his attention. We talked for an hour. He sent me their current portfolio. 300 loans, mostly small medical debt and credit cards. And one large package. My parents' home liens. "That one's a good opportunity," he said. $215,000 in debt against a $1.2 million property. Borrowers are current now, but they're stretched thin. High likelihood of default in the next 12 to 24 months. "What's your asking price?" $130,000. We paid $110 for it, looking for a reasonable return. $130,000. I didn't have $130,000. But I knew someone who knew debt. I spent the next year working. 80-hour weeks. Every overtime shift. Every holiday. I picked up a second job doing safety consulting for construction companies. I started teaching CPR classes on weekends. I lived on $2,000 a month and saved everything else. I also studied real estate law, debt collection regulations, foreclosure procedures, Washington state property statutes. Sarah helped. She didn't have money, but she had time during her kids' school hours. She researched, made calls, found loopholes. 18 months after my surgery, I had $43,000 saved. I approached Pacific Northwest Credit Solutions, the loan shark that had financed my surgery. I'd been paying them on time for 18 months, $700 a month every month, never late. "I have a business proposition," I told their loan officer. "I need to borrow $90,000 to purchase a debt package. The collateral is a $1.2 million home with $215,000 in existing liens. I'm offering you a partnership. You put up $90,000, I put up $40,000. We split ownership 60-40, with me as managing partner. What's the asset?" I showed him the portfolio, my parents' liens. He smiled. "This is personal, isn't it? It's business. Good business." We purchased the debt for $130,000 total. We own $215,000 in liens against a $1.2 million property. When they default, and they will, we either restructure for a profit or foreclose and take the property. How do you know they'll default? Because I know their finances better than they do. We shook hands. 2 weeks later, Cascade Financial Recovery accepted our offer. $130,000 for the full debt package. I was now the majority owner of my parents' home liens. They didn't know. The debt was sold, servicer changed, but borrowers aren't notified of who owns the debt, just who services it. And the servicer stayed the same. I waited. 6 months passed. My parents kept making payments, barely, minimum amounts. Their credit card statements, which I could access through the loan servicing portal, showed growing balances. More spending on Emma. Mom's 4th wellness retreat. Dad's Tesla needed repairs. Then Emma's Instagram growth stalled. Algorithm changes. Increased competition. Her engagement dropped 40% in 3 months. Brand deals dried up. Emma's studios, both of them, started losing money. She went to our parents. I know because I saw the credit card charges. $5,000 to Emma Chen Studios, another $8,000 the next month, another $12,000 the month after that. They were funding her failing business with credit cards. Their home lien payments started coming in late. First by 3 days, then a week, then 2 weeks. The servicer sent notices. Reminders, warnings. My parents ignored them. Month 18, they missed a payment entirely. That's when I called. My father answered. Hello? Dad, it's Michael. Michael, we haven't heard from you in a while. How are you doing? I'm good. I'm actually calling about something important. Your home loans. Silence. How do you know about our home loans? I know you have $215,000 in liens. I know you've missed payments. I know you're 30 days past due. That's private financial information. How did you... I own your debt, Dad. The silence was longer this time. What? I purchased your loans from Cascade Financial Recovery. I own them, all $215,000 of it, and you're currently in default. That's not possible. You don't have that kind of money. I worked 80-hour weeks for 18 months and partnered with an investment firm. It's very possible, and it's done. I heard him cover the phone. Muffled conversation. Mom's voice in the background. Michael, this is some kind of joke. It's not a joke. Check your servicer portal. The owner of record changed 3 months ago to Chen Pacific Holdings LLC. That's me and my partners. More muffled conversation. What do you want? I want you to read your loan documents. Specifically, Section 12, Clause 3. The acceleration clause. It states that upon default, the lender can demand full payment of the remaining balance within 30 days. You're in default. I'm exercising that clause. You have 30 days to pay $215,000 or I foreclose on the property. You can't do this. I can. And I am. We're your parents. You're borrowers in default. This is business, Dad. Actions have consequences. I'm sure you understand. I hung up. They tried calling back. 17 times that evening. I didn't answer. They called Sarah. She told them she couldn't help them. She'd given me her wedding ring and they'd given me nothing. They called Emma. Emma had no money. Her studios were failing and she was in debt herself. They hired a lawyer. The lawyer reviewed the loan documents and told them everything was legal. I had the right to accelerate the debt. They had 30 days. 29 days later, my father called me from a different number. Michael, please, we're begging you. We'll lose the house. You should have thought of that before you spent $215,000 on Emma's businesses and Mom's wellness retreats. We'll pay you back. We just need time. You've had 2 years. You chose to spend money on Emma instead of building an emergency fund. This is a lesson in financial responsibility, Dad. Maybe you should have made better choices. I used his exact words from 18 months ago. Michael, please. I'm not foreclosing. Hope in his voice. You're not? No. I'm restructuring. Here are the new terms. You're now tenants in your own home. Market rate rent for a 4-bedroom house in Bellevue is $4,000 a month. You'll pay me $4,000 a month. The property stays in my name. You can live there as long as you make payments. $4,000 a month? That's our entire retirement income. Then, I suggest you make better financial choices. Cut expenses, build an emergency fund, maybe sell the Tesla. This is insane. This is business. You have 72 hours to decide. Accept the rental terms, or I sell the house and you're out completely. They accepted. They had to. I didn't keep the rental payments. Every dollar went into a trust fund. Beneficiary: Sarah Chen. Sarah, who sold her wedding ring, who visited me 3 times a week, who researched legal documents during her kids' school hours, who gave me $1,200 she couldn't afford to lose. The trust fund, managed properly, would be worth enough to send Jacob and Mia to college, with enough left over for Sarah to finally buy a reliable car and maybe someday take a vacation. I told her on a Tuesday. We were in her apartment. Jacob and Mia were at school. I had the trust fund documents in a folder. "What's this?" she asked. "Your wedding ring money. Plus interest." She opened the folder. "Read the first page." Looked up at me. "Michael, this is $150,000. It's rent payments from Mom and Dad's house. They're paying $4,000 a month. Over the next few years, with investment growth, it'll be more. It's for Jacob and Mia's college. And for you." She started crying. "I sold a ring for $1,200. You gave me everything you had. This is me giving you everything I can." She hugged me. Hard, the way she used to when we were kids and the world felt too big and scary. "You're insane," she whispered. I learned from the best. My parents tried to fight it. They hired lawyers. The lawyers found nothing illegal. Everything was documented, contracted, legal. Emma posted about it on Instagram, a long caption about family betrayal and how money corrupts people. She tagged me. The comments were split. Half supported her. Half pointed out that she'd received $45,000 from our parents while I received 0. She deleted the post. 6 months into the rental arrangement, my parents stopped speaking to me entirely. Emma reached out once. She needed money. Her studios had closed. She was in debt. Could I help? I told her to sell her ring lights and learn about financial responsibility. She blocked me. I still work as a firefighter. $48,000 a year. I still pick up overtime shifts, but not 80 hours a week anymore. Just enough to stay comfortable. I moved out of my friend's garage. Got a small apartment in Capitol Hill. Nothing fancy, but it's mine. Sarah and I have dinner every Sunday. Jacob and Mia call me Uncle Mikey. They don't know about the trust fund yet. Sarah wants to tell them when they're older. Sometimes I think about that phone call with my father. Actions have consequences. Maybe you should learn that. He was right. He just didn't realize the lesson would be his. 3 years after my surgery, I got a letter. It was from Mrs. Patterson, the woman whose apartment had burned, whose 2 kids I'd pulled out of the fire. She tracked me down through the fire department. The letter said, "My daughter asks about you sometimes. The firefighter who saved her. I tell her you're a hero, not because of what you did that day, but because heroes don't do the right thing for recognition. They do it because it's right. Thank you for showing her what that looks like." I put the letter on my refrigerator, next to a photo of Sarah and me at Jacob's 6th birthday party. Some family you're born into, some family you choose, and some family chooses you, even when it costs them everything. Sarah chose me, and I chose her right back. That's what family means. Not blood, not obligation, choice. Every single day, we choose each other. And that's worth more than any house, any Tesla, any studio, or any amount of money our parents could have given. Because what Sarah gave me wasn't $1,200. It was the knowledge that I was worth saving. And in the end, that's the only inheritance that matters.